Hello YouTube, this is Robert Ness 816 and you might hear my wife getting attacked by a cat, so he's very hyper right now. Anyway, so I have here another video on safety razors, and this one's going to be closed comb versus open comb. I have a vintage Gillette here because this is whenever you see like a razor video, or not a video, but like a picture of a safety razor, oftentimes people use this particular razor, and that's because Gillette sold, I don't know how many, maybe a million of these things back in the day. So this one's from about the 1920s, and this is like your kind of iconic safety razor shape here. This is what Gillette called the old type ball end razor. This one is made out of solid brass that is gold plated. I think these also came in nickel plated and I think chrome plated. Correct me if I'm wrong on that though, but I know they came in gold plated, which is what this one is, but they also came in nickel. Very uncommon to see them with the gold plating still intact, and this one has really very little use on it, so that's great. Usually these razors, the ball end is completely worn off, the plating is really worn on the handle where the knurling is, the top cap here is super worn out from just use. The same thing with the combs. So this is a razor that's really not seen too much use, and I'm really thankful for that. This one I cleaned up and it came out really good. Something common here with these though is that the handles on literally all of them crack. So you can see right there it's got a crack on it, and right there. So what I did to fix that was I used a Loctite brand super glue, which is the only super glue I know of that actually works on metal and wood, most plastics. It actually stays put when you glue something. It actually is really strong. So this razor has been used probably about 15 times now, and it hasn't even come loose. And then I also sealed in the cracks as well so that water wouldn't get in the handle. So basically this thing's good to go. But when you find these, 90% of them is going to have a crack either on the ends of the razor. Let me just lock that focus there because it's annoying me. You're either going to have cracks on either end of the razor, or a crack at one end of the razor, or you'll have a crack running down the entire length of the handle. So basically you'd have to get a replacement handle of some type. So luckily Gillette had a new type ball end razor that they came out with. Well, not new type ball end, but a new type tech is what they called it. And this is one of the handle designs that they came out with, which basically fixed the issue. And you can just kind of screw this on there, and now you have a perfectly fine safety razor. So that's one way to fix a open comb vintage old style Gillette there, or old type as they're called Gillette, is by just replacing the handle. And something cool about Gillette is that because they started the thread pitch that basically every company copies today, you can take a 100-year-old safety razor head and put it onto a brand new handle, because they all use the exact same threads. So there you go. There's my brand new Parker handle on a 100-year-old open comb head. I would never shave with this because I don't know how it would shave, but anyways, there you go. So just something cool to learn about. So anyway, getting back to it, open comb safety razors. These get a little bit of flack because people are, I guess, intimidated by them. So as far as my experiences go with them, I have this razor and I have this one. These are my two open comb safety razors, and they both shave similarly. So this one is smoother shaving. This one has a little bit more blade feel to it. Efficiency wise, they're both pretty much tied. They both get a very close, comfortable shave. I don't really get nicks or cuts with them. A lot of people are intimidated because the combs are open, so they think that it's easier to cut yourself with, but that's actually the furthest thing from the truth. So I'll put a blade into this Parker just to show you, because if you're new to wet shaving, most people are going to suck at it anyway, so it really doesn't matter what razor you get. You're going to have an initial learning curve, and you're going to get some nicks and cuts along the way. The Mula, I think it's the R41, is a razor that I wouldn't go with for a starter, because that one, you need to shave at a very specific blade angle to master that one. Otherwise, it's going to be a bloodbath. But with this Parker, you can see that the blade kind of hugs the combs. So you have a lot of exposure, which means you'll get a lot of blade. You get a lot of audible feedback with it, but as far as possibly hurting yourself, not really. I've shaved with this razor a lot, and you can use this one pretty much as your everyday razor if you really wanted to. So this one is perfectly fine to use all the time. And like I said, if you're new to wet shaving, the issue is going to be more or less your technique, your lathering technique. There's so many factors, you know. As far as getting the right blade goes, I found out that a lot of that is overhyped. So pretty much your lathering technique and your shaving technique is more important than the blade you choose. What this determines the type of blade is basically how close of a shave you'll get. So you can have like a blade that's like fairly sharp, and you put it in like an aggressive razor, it'll give you like a decent shave. You have like a really sharp blade and you put it in like the same razor, you get a better shave out of it, obviously. The same thing if you put that sharp blade into a more mild razor. So we'll put the blade into the vintage Gillette too, just to show you what that looks like. And this one's cool because basically it's just solid brass, so this thing will last pretty much forever. These razors too, you have to look at the ends of the combs here. You see how thin they are? So when Gillette redesigned these and came out with the new style open comb razors, they made the end combs much thicker, which is also why Parker did the same with theirs, because they kind of learned from Gillette's mistakes. So you can kind of see what the blade looks like here. So not a whole lot of blade exposure. The combs on this razor are shorter, so like I said, you do get a little bit more blade feel, but other than that though, it's really not bad. This is actually a really fun razor to shave with though, because it actually does a really good job, believe it or not. And then I'll stick you have a lot of blade overhang though. It's the only thing to look out for with these older Gillettes. These on the tech razors have a lot of overhang. Not an issue. I mean, you really can't cut yourself with it unless you're like really, really, really bad. And then I'll stick this blade into the 56R. So this is Parker's own head design. And the Parkers in general are slightly more they're slightly more aggressive than, like, say an Edwin Jagger, like DE89, or like a Mula, I believe it's an R89 or something like that, so a little bit more aggressive than those razors are. So this one, you can see how it's got blade gap instead of having the blade rest on those combs, and you have a lot of or a decent amount of blade exposure. So Parkers are known for audible feedback, and they definitely have that. So, and you can see with with these razors, you can see how the blade gap is a little bit more than what you would get with most other closed comb razors. So this one would be like slightly aggressive as far as the shave goes. So pretty much equal to what the open comb head is as far as how the shave goes. It just feels different though between the two of them. It's a different feel. They're both smooth, but the aggressiveness between these two is pretty much the same. So pretty much what it comes down to is how the manufacturer makes the head in general. So that's why open comb razors have kind of like a stigma to them where they're like super aggressive or whatever and uncomfortable. And that is basically down to the way that the manufacturer wants to create the razor, not how it is basically just by its very nature. It's just how it's made by the manufacturer if they choose to make it aggressive or not. So these two are basically middle of the road aggression. They're not like anything super crazy or whatever. So anyways, I hope that helped you guys out a little bit. Thanks for watching.